Hi, we're back again with the ABCs of Home Improvement. I'm Mike Ash, supplier of kitchens, and the other guest today is John Sebastian, and Rich from the studio, from the other room is telling me we have a phone call. Go ahead. Hello.
Hello, Mike?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, Steve, how are you?
It's Uncle Steve, the roaming renovator. Here we are.
How you doing, Steve?
Steve, you're on the air. You're here with Earl and Big John and Mike. What's going on? What's
All right.
Where are you working today?
Oh, we're up here in beautiful Woodstock, New York.
Oh, nice day with the weather.
Whirlpool bath for a
Whirlpool
lovely couple.
bath.
Oh, very nice. So this is Steve, the renovation specialist, huh?
That's Steve,
Uncle Steve,
yeah.
why don't you throw your number out to the folks out there in the Woodstock area that might be looking for something?
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be 845-831-7609.
Oh, there you go. The
So what are you
renovation
doing
man.
today to make somebody happy?
Just say yes.
Just say yes. We like that, Uncle Steve. All right.
Do
Now
what they want.
listen, they're going to be calling. We had a few calls already in at the show here. They're going to be calling down to you now. That's it with that. Just say yes. Very good.
You guys are the experts.
Well, listen, Steve, while we got you here, we got the magic hat that we brought into the studio for the first time, and we want to let the folks out there in Radio Land know what that's about. What we have here is the company is changing over its office. Arca Future is changing over its office, and you are now the third call. So the fourth and fifth callers are eligible for our free giveaways. We're giving away a Sony answering service here and a Sony Handycam, an 8mm Handycam. Both used, both of them
I might
being.
have to call back.
Hey, now you got it. Both of them, you
Just
get.
say no.
Just say no. Earl's looking at the Sony Handycam here himself. He wants to take that home with him for his next home improvement project. So we got that in the magic hat. We're going to do that every week while we're on the air. Get you folks jingling up the phone lines here, and you can pick up this stuff at the station. So we're going to take the next two callers to call in. You get these as is, whatever it is, Sony answering service and the Sony 8mm Handycam for 4 and 5. So,
I guess you're remodeling in your place, huh?
Yeah, we've got to make room for the new technology. So this is, one step back.
Steve, good luck on the bathroom. Thanks for calling.
Take care.
All right,
Bye, guys.
take it easy.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so let's get back to getting in the ground here, right? We were on our stone foundations, and we were just talking briefly about, different circumstances there. But let's say we're ready, we're prepped, we're ready to start scraping the ground now. What happens, John? Go ahead.
Well, we at that point we have our inspections in which we need to talk to the local authorities about that, and they usually come down in this area. The frost line, and maybe you can correct me, Earl, it might be 42 inches.
That is what they're looking for.
Yeah, 42 inches. I don't know if you guys know, I actually taught high school.
Oh, see that?
High
John's
school.
giving a little bit up on the air here. It's a little confessional here in the booth.
And I didn't do that because I didn't want my clients to know that
Nice.
I was
I won't tell anybody,
double
Jim.
dipping.
Nice.
I did that for 12 years, and I actually taught construction technology, teaching kids how to build homes.
Oh, excellent.
And
John.
it's I guess you could say it's sort of like your New York BOCES here, your BOCES program you have here in New York State. But to get back to what you're saying, your town official would come, a building inspector, and sometimes it's not the actual building inspector, but just an inspector from the town, and he would look and measure and see if the ground is stable. I know that's one of the questions, and see if there's anything going on, and making sure the footing is wide enough. Some footings don't require any forms, others do, depending on the application. Most footings are 24 inches wide by 1 foot deep. Some require, if you're going into an existing footing, to be pinned, and that means is you would drill out the existing footing and put rebar, different types of rebar, I think this is the rebars, to pin the one into the new footing.
Pin,
Okay.
attach. It means attach.
Okay, and it's sort of like a dowel, drilling a hole into a piece of wood and putting a dowel in it and to attach it to another piece of wood. And that's
Sounds like an
just
interlocking
trying to,
system.
like an analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you here, and or an example. And at that point, once the footing is poured, then the block works.
Let me ask you something, 'cause I don't know about footings really. Are they always concrete?
Yeah, as far as
Nowadays
that's a
they
great
are.
question.
Nowadays.
Nowadays they have to be
Heck,
concrete.
matter of fact, there's usually they would like to have a 3,500 per square inch the footing, the strength of the concrete. But that's just to quickly go over, there's actually preformed footings and foundation walls now. I mean, they're just. I mean, there's so much stuff going on, and it's been going on for years. And I was thinking about doing that. I think, Lee, didn't you mention that to me?
Superior, we're going to throw this out. If Superior Walls is listening, we're coming after you as a sponsor. But Superior Walls does not need a footing. What they do, Superior Walls is a plank system that's put up vertically, precast, and it's epoxied together at the seams. And what they do is they set those in gravel, and the gravel bed is the footing. You need a certain about 1.5 or 2 feet of gravel underneath this system, and then they pack the gravel around it before they put the slab in, and they tie it with the rebar, like you said, into some of the sections to get the slab tied into the walls, and that holds it together without a footing.
Absolutely, and you know, a lot of times you would do a system like that if you're sometimes maybe in an urban area where you want to build the project quickly. If you're in an area that
A zero lot line condition where you're right up against another building.
You're in tight conditions, like you said. Another area, if you're doing a tremendous amount of projects, modulars, or these are areas that are doing it. But for the most part, if you're doing, you wouldn't be doing that type of application if you're doing, let's say, a remodeling, and if you're doing new construction, especially high-end construction, that is not an area that is I guess it's maybe sort of frowned upon. But for other applications, you know, it works. It works.
There is a system, Mike, that we used over in Tenafly on a project we were doing, and they're actually, instead of forming out the footing, and what that means is that the footing is formed with either a 2x12 or some sort of lumber material on the sides to create the edges where you're going to hold the concrete in. The system we used was plastic. It was a plastic bag. It was a 10 mil plastic bag footing design, where the bag had a plastic piece up on top where you set the concrete into the plastic, and the plastic was the form. And we had a rough time with the building inspector getting that approved, but it was approved in New Jersey, and we had the number, and we did 10 houses like that. Now,
Are they still up?
yeah, they're still up, and well, the form comes off. Okay, when you pour the concrete footing, the form comes off on the wood. So you're removing the wood when the concrete's done. The plastic stays in place.
Sure, you pop it.
Right, you have to make sure. Well, I was there for the pours, and my concern was that it was going to blow out. Obviously, the blowout means you're going to lose the concrete while you're pouring it into the form. That's why they use wood and they stake it, and, because the concrete, even though it's fluid, it has a very high density, and what it does is it's going to push its way out, and the weight of the material itself could actually, you would think, blow out the plastic bag, but it didn't. It was designed with a mesh in there. It's got a little interweaving mesh,
Right.
and it was much cheaper than forming it. So if you're looking at doing 20 units, and you got to have the labor to come down and form out those footings and materials, stays in place.
You know,
Thanks for that, balloon boy.
Yeah.
But let's get back to real wood form on the footings.
Right,
and
you know
let's
what?
go up
Listen,
from there.
I gotta
I
tell
appreciate that. That was an aside.
You know what? I got to tell you, you got a lot of old school building inspectors that
They've never seen it.
They'll drag it until you do it, and
Right.
and it's great that you stayed on your foundation there, and you got it. But you know what? I gotta tell you, there's so many great new things,
Right.
products out there.
Right,
But-
exactly.
But I tell you, I do, especially in remodeling. I'm a wood guy.
And the homeowner wants to see something that they know, and that is what they know. The wood-formed footing is what they see when they go to anybody's project. So it's nothing new, and they're not exposed to trying to digest some of the new information and new materials.
But getting back to, so we pour it. After we pour it, now we start with our block. We block, or we actually pour. Now, many foundations nowadays are poured foundations, and that's just a great system to use. And
Right.
Many renovations and rehabs. And Earl, please interrupt if it's anything
It's
here.
right in there. It's right in there.
But I mean, you're basically using block now. Is that what you're using on your renovations and?
No, well, both. And what we see a lot now is the wooden forms
Right,
for
right.
poured foundations,
Right, right, right.
and the aluminum forms.
Yeah, right.
So
Now, what about these styrofoam forms that they have that you use these as blocks and you fill them with concrete like Legos, and that becomes your insulated foundation wall.
How old are your kids, Lee? Keep
Somebody-
going back to Lego.
Somebody
I'm gonna
unplug him.
All right, I'm going to just educate the consumer
Hey,
out
you know
there with
what?
some other opportunities.
Hey, Lee, you know what? God bless you. You're on the cutting edge, and that's what you.
I
That's
mean,
why you're here.
that's all,
That's
that's all.
why you're here. You need to.
As the architect, I need to inject some of the cutting edge things that are coming across the desk.
Absolutely.
And give the homeowner an opportunity to at least understand what it is, and then we go back to old traditional
Absolutely.
ways.
That's good, Lee. And it's always good you're thinking out of the box. On the same token, we have to. Okay.
All right, Earl. Earl's reaching across here, and that's it.